Hey y'all, it's Swamp Dog. We're back at it again. Yeah, I'm still alive. Yeah, the channel's still here. Uh, we're bringing back another episode of the SwampTalk podcast. Going to be joined by a couple of folks and a new person to the channel coming from the 3D printing community to bring some insight and thoughts from that side because what we're going to be talking about tonight is kind of applies to everybody. It's stuff that affects all of us. Things are getting out of hand uh, everywheres. And on that note, let me go ahead and introduce y'all and bring in today's guests. First, we got Op Runner.
How's it going, guys?
Doing his running around as always.
Yep, I'm chasing my goals and shit around all over the damn country. I'm a drone operator, videographer, and I've been slowly starting getting into 3D printing. So I got a few things on my chest I'd like to say in a bit. So I'll let you keep introducing.
There you go. And on that note, new to the Swamp Dog channel, we got Projects in Dad's Garage.
How's it going, y'all?
Going good. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do? Talk about your channel a minute and all that while we're getting things going and folks is coming in on the chat and stuff.
Sure. So my name's Alex. Uh, I run a YouTube channel, Projects in Dad's Garage. Uh, focus mainly on 3D printing stuff. Oftentimes doing that with the kids and helping them learn some things that I don't know. You only learn from dad. You know what I mean?
There you go. But yeah, we've talked on previous episodes of the Swamp Talk show about things getting kind of ridiculous of not being able to talk with each other anymore and things getting so divisive, and it has not gotten very much better. If anything else, it has gotten even further divisive, and that brings us to tonight's topic of talking about how we can, bridge or undo that divide some, and in the meantime be taking care of ourselves and not feeding into that more.
Yeah.
If I may, I almost want to say this divide's going to get bigger. My reasoning, unfortunately, is I believe we are now, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I think we're almost past the point of reasoning. Like,
Yeah.
we've been trying. I want to say the right, the conservative right, the free thinkers have been trying this shit for the longest fucking time. And I mean, in every aspect, we've tried to reason with them in the past, with debate, with video, with information, with laws. We've tried. We've tried. And now, where are we? We got one of the most important figureheads from our side dead, assassinated, essentially.
Yeah, and that literally talk to me guy changed my mind, willing to listen to, the opposing opinions, and that's who got attacked, is the one that was willing to talk and listen.
But not. It wasn't just Charlie Kirk that got attacked, man. It was all of us. Every
Oh
single
yeah.
red-blooded American that just got the First Amendment was shot at today. Was shot at that day, not today.
Yeah. Because it
Like,
was it was yesterday, wasn't it, that it happened, or the day before?
sucks that we have to fucking talk about it like this because we're all still very emotionally charged right now with it when we should be remembering the amazing lives that were lost during 9/11, and it fucking pisses me off.
Yep.
It absolutely pisses me off. But
And it's not just the right side per se that's affected by this. It's all of America. People that is going to be celebrating someone getting murdered, straight up murdered, regardless of the political side of stuff, and to be going and literally putting out videos and dancing and oh great and all this other stuff just shows how far from reality things is getting, how broken society is becoming. It's not just about right and left anymore, it's right and wrong, just straight up trying to break down what makes America America,
Yep.
what makes us one of the best countries in the world, why so many people want to come here from all other places.
And what disgusts me more is somebody pointed out an interesting point that I kind of agree with, but yeah, I have some contention towards. So they were saying that, oh, what's the point of us getting mad at the lower ponds, right? Like all the fucking loud morons that are like, oh, fuck Charlie Kirk, we're gonna put videos about him, blah 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 blah. The part of me thinks that, like, yes, we should focus more so on the leadership, like who is creating these problems, who is guiding the hand of the leftists, because we all tend to kind of follow a set of programming. It's unfortunate to say. The reason why is because the left is programmed to say and do their master's bidding and shit. Like, oh, defend trans, defend
Talking points.
yeah, typical talking points, okay? And then the right gets mad. The right gets mad and then responds back, oh, we all need to react to all these idiots all posting like these vile comments and shit. And then part of me thinks we should focus more on the leadership, like who is guiding these hands. I believe we'll get to our problem a lot fucking sooner. Um, but the problem is
Looking into the actual cause of the disease, not the individual symptoms.
exactly, and this is only going to continue to get worse. And it's unfortunate that we have to fight each other in this, which that's my problem is, there comes the argument of, oh, they are our fellow countrymen, Democrats and liberals is what I'm speaking about.
Yeah.
They are unfortunately our countrymen. They are our comrades. They are our fellow people and sharing this beautiful land with us. Part of me thinks, fuck that. Fuck them. Like, they othered us, They put us in a different category and put us on this other evil perceived side. Like, we're the Nazis, we're the shit people, trying to get everybody killed with COVID. When all we wanted to do was question authority. We wanted to question, what is the purpose of this shit? Why are we masking up? Why are we doing these ridiculous lockdowns? Oh, no, 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 you just want to kill people. Oh, we have to lock down or everyone's gonna die. You don't care about children. You don't care about lives or black lives, whatever the fuck they want to come up with. And they othered us. Okay, they othered us to make it easier for them to hate us. They made it easier for them to dispense whatever kind of perceived justice on their end, such as trying to assassinate us, trying to kill us, and it's all part of it. It makes it a lot easier for the other side to hate us even more when they put us in that fucking category.
And the media is not helping. You
No,
have the mainstream media on both sides that just feeds into that. And if you're not like watching from both sides, you get sucked into whichever side you're closer to because the same things just keep, like you said, keeps getting blasted. This thing happened, okay, we got to get mad about it, or this
yeah,
thing happened, they're got to get mad about it, and nothing actually is getting done. It's
mhm,
it's 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 like turning the whole country into the Hatfields and McCoys, where no one really even knows what the fuck it is that we're really mad about. When what we're trying to do is get back to being free people.
yep,
Like you said, trying just asking questions, trying to get answers. Why is this stuff going on? and you can't even get through the haze to get to what you're trying to do.
Yep. And the problem will just keep continuing, and we never break this cycle, and then we end up just dividing each other. Bastards, whoever's in charge, want this shit. They want it so bad because it makes us focus on what's really not important, and it lets them get away with all sorts of shit. You know, because when people are focused on hating each other versus, oh well, this politician is trying to pass some bullshit law to allow these big companies to make XYZ product or land take, like it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, all that stuff that's actually important, like you said, the different legislations and stuff. Just lately, everything just keeps happening pretty much in the background because you have all this other bull crap that like the focus gets put on, that everybody's attention is on, and emotions riled up and all this other stuff, to where you have stupid legislation go through or stuff that actually does make a difference and help both sides doesn't go through because they don't have the people behind it contacting folks because they're not aware of it,
Yep.
didn't know what was going on because they was busy getting upset about what so and so said on an Instagram post.
100%. And it's easier to hate these fucking libtards. It's easier to hate these absolute dejectable people that we call human beings. But it's a lot harder when we all have to focus down. We have to call legislators. We have to, create whole entire movements against, bullshit legislation or injustices that we see. Like, for example, well, great example is this asshole that killed in Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, politicians have failed us. The system has failed us. All of them. Like all of it has failed us, and we'd rather focus on just either the victim or the criminal getting like these donations and shit. When the problem really stems from the district attorneys. The district attorneys are the real ones to blame for this shit. The mayor.
I think we might have lost
Yeah,
him a minute. He'll be back.
I think we may have. Can I interject with a slightly different train of thought
Sorry.
Go ahead.
on
That's why
on
we
the
have this discussion to where it's not just
yeah,
one person, saying things the whole time.
maybe a different way to look at what's going on in the world. So, um, there's a there's a lot of us and them from both sides, and uh, you're playing right into it. It. What has happened in like the Charlie Kirk situation and a lot of other things going on in the world right now is that the reason why Charlie Kirk's such a dangerous individual is because he was the guy that was willing to sit down and talk and listen. The reason why it is so easy now in society to have an us them thing is because society is very much an online thing. Here I am in my garage when 30 years ago, it would have been me and a couple buddies hanging out in here having a discussion. And we would have all had a different idea and thoughts and opinions on whatever it was, whether they were similar or completely opposite, it didn't matter. You would sit down, you'd have a discussion. And because you're looking a person in the eye, having this discussion rather than over here on a keyboard, where on a keyboard, it's not a real person on the other side of that screen that you're spewing whatever to.
It's another
Right?
screen and another keyboard.
And you don't have to listen. You don't see the the communication that happens non-verbally in a discussion. Okay, a lot of times you can pick up on things like, oh, this person feels that way for some other reason other than what maybe they're saying. Maybe there's some experience in their life. Maybe there's some fear. Maybe there's something, right? And the so that communication doesn't happen anymore, right? When's the last time you went and sat on your porch and your neighbor walked over and sat down and just hung out and chatted for the evening, right? When's the last time you walked down your block and saw people outside hanging out, having discussions, right? Whether it was because they were walking their dog, their kids were out there playing with one another, right? That communication doesn't happen anymore. That discussion. So now that that doesn't happen, it's very, very easy to make it a us them thing because it's a faceless person on the other side. And even when there is a face because they're on YouTube, a YouTube personality, that's not a real person. That's a image on a screen, right? And the easiest way to control a society is to keep them afraid and keep them entertained.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like you said, there's a lot of
That
the
goes
in-person,
all the way back to the
non-verbal
Romans,
stuff that you
the
only get
circus.
social cues from, like you said, face to face, in person, how people breathe, how they hold themselves, different things that you do without even thinking about it. Like there's a reason why that's the kind of stuff law enforcement focuses on when they're trying to find out something that someone's completely lying about, if they did this or didn't do that. That applies, like you said, to regular everyday folks too, and as a society at whole. Like you said, the further and further we get away from those basic biological human social animal things, like we are a social creature. That's what we are. We there's we're designed to interact with each other, and
Yeah.
like you said, a lot of that in-person interaction, that's literally for thousands and thousands of years, that's how everything was done. It's only recently that things are becoming more and more distant because everybody has internet in the palm of their hand, and it's so easy to just get lost in that screen. And like you said, you can say what you want, and that you don't actually know, the impact of that, or you could just be talking to yourself. Is literally what you're doing when you're just like you said, when you're talking to a screen, you're not talking to another person, you're literally just talking to yourself.
Well, the other thing that people get trapped in their own echo chambers where they don't hear a differing opinion on something, or their bullshit opinion is not being challenged, at
Yeah.
least by logic or reasoning, proper logic and reasoning. So that ends up just cycling and only getting shared amongst like these little groups of them, right? And they develop a group think. And so when one of their little, talking points come up, then they all just mass up in the comment section every single time. Never fails, bro.
Yeah. It's real easy online to find a group of people who agree with what you think and only talk to them, right? And back when society was a little bit different and it wasn't online and social meant getting out of the fucking house, not getting on a computer or on your phone. There's nothing social media about Twitter or Facebook or, Discord or YouTube. They are not social.
Yep.
There's nothing social about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's you alone, most likely taking a shit on your toilet, talking about whatever comes through your head at that moment, right? With nobody there to check you, right? Where if you're out in the real world and you're talking to people,
You say something
you're going
dumb,
to
someone's
realize
gonna
that,
pop you.
yeah. So, well, not even that. Somebody's going to go, that makes no sense, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, but that's
regardless
what
of
I'm getting
regardless
at.
of what your opinion is, right? And just take my background, right? I was I was raised in New Jersey, moved out of New Jersey at 26 years old, right? New Jersey is very much not a gun culture, right? About as far from a gun culture as you can get. And growing up in that situation, I understand that moving out here, right? It was very much a what do you mean? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like you could just you can walk into a store and buy a firearm and not have to wait 6 months for 7 million background checks and OKs, and you can buy as many as you want. You know, that doesn't make any sense, right? Because that's not what I came from, and it not being around when you saw it, you were afraid. It was something you weren't used to, you weren't exposed to, and that propagates, right?
And
And
again,
so,
it goes back to what you was talking about like social being in person.
yeah,
That's how human beings learn. You don't learn if you never encounter something to deal with it. There's only so much that you can read from a book or this and that, even like talking about before the internet times. And even then, books and stuff was stories. You still would go out and do things or explore, learn things, you know, be and like being like you was talking about being in person and stuff, you get exposed to different people. It's not just the people that's in your direct home or your direct neighborhood or this and that. You find out there is more than just what you already know about. Because there ain't
yeah.
not a one of us that fucking knows everything there is about anything.
Oh
Even,
no.
you know,
And so I've got I've got some uh people relatively close to me that have some extreme views on both sides. Okay. And a lot of that comes from the fact that they never spend any time looking at the other side other than just to scoff at and laugh at it, right? Not realizing that there's probably a reason why that person feels and thinks that way. A legitimate reason. It's not they're stupid. It it's normally not because they're stupid. There's sometimes where it is. But there's and if you talk to them, right? If you're face to face with somebody and you ask them like why, like, and you find out, you know, like okay, for instance, a guy I worked with, very anti gun, right? And you know, I ragged him a little bit, but then I asked him why. And the reason why was because somebody had broke into his grandmother's house and shot and killed his grandmother when he was a little child. That makes an impact on a person, right? And as a child, it's really hard to separate out that somebody was doing something because they were a horrible human being and how they did that, right? Um, I ended up managing to convince this gentleman to come out with me to the range, right? And what I took with me, I took a bunch of 22s, right? And I got him started on that. Very unintimidating, and just walked him up. And by the end of 2 hours at the range, he had fired, an AR and actually saw the rounds and realized it doesn't really matter what the weapon looks like, right? Now, whether or not you want to hold that opinion that all weapons are evil, or whether you want to go all weapons are okay, I don't care. But realize that it doesn't matter what it looks like. They all do the same thing, right? Gentlemen realized, oh crap, this has a legit purpose in being fun. Started to understand. I was like, I had a discussion with him. Like, okay, but what if your grandmother had a firearm and was able to defend herself, right? What if this person broke into her house and she was able to defend herself and protect herself with a firearm? Would that firearm still be evil? Right? And just in having a discussion, like, did I make him a, you know, pro 2A activist? Absolutely not. Did I make him see that there's a legitimate other side to that conversation? Yeah. And how did I do that? By sitting down and having a discussion with somebody, talking to them and understanding where they were coming from and then explain to them where I was coming from, right? And that very personal interaction, right? Not me yelling at somebody on the internet who doesn't care what I say, really. They don't. You can type until your fingers fall off. They're not going to care. You're not going to change anybody's mind, right? I don't know that anybody's mind has been changed through the comment section of any social media. But I know that people's minds have been changed by the comments that they have in real life with another human being that they know, they trust, and they respect.
I think you might be muted. We can't hear you. No, it's not showing muted, but we're getting no audio.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can. Well,
I My daughter was asking me a question.
I was
Um,
talking. I was talking about
uh,
Christian with Op Runner. He was trying to. He had something to say and was interjecting, but his audio wasn't working.
there he is. He's
Now we
back.
can hear you because I hear your phone squeaking.
Yep. Okay. No, sorry about that. My wife called me. That interrupted it. I couldn't change it back. I agree with you to a point. Most of the people that I've been able to convince throughout my lifetime have been able to be convinced in person. Able to but here's the problem. Not everyone is willing to accept other people's viewpoints because the problem with leftism and liberalism is a lot of them get very close-minded. When they're that deep into it, man, they will not accept
Oh, yeah,
a new perspective
absolutely. And the same thing's true
whatsoever.
for the right. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Anything, and once you're that
Anybody can be closed.
radical on either side, the
Well,
same
hold
thing.
on.
Nazis
Here's the
was
thing, though.
far to the
There's
other side.
a study that shows, right, both sides, which side has more differing opinions than the other. Now, when you look at the left versus the right, guess who has a lot more varying opinions on all sorts of different subjects and topics and still, has a middle ground more than the other? It's the right. It's the conservative side. The left will not entertain any sort of discourse. They won't entertain any sort of debate. They won't entertain any outside groupthink. So the problem is that once they're stuck in there at that point, man, I hate to say it, a lot of them are unable to be fucking saved unless they go through some insane traumatic event that changes their whole world, such as being attacked. You know, um, that I'm not gonna get into detail with other shit, but the point is something serious has to fucking happen to them because they've gotten so entitled, so secure in their position in the world and in their thinking too, that they're not willing to entertain any sort of discourse, any sort of debate. So it's like it won't even matter how much you try to change their mind. They just will not fucking listen whatsoever. And
And that goes with anything. If
yeah,
you're not willing to talk or willing to listen.
They
Same
won't.
like addicts and all that stuff. If you have to be willing to have that open mind in the first place, or you're literally, like you said, you're just going to keep getting stuck in that circle. Keep that keeps feeding your thoughts and your 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 not really values, because when when you can't explain what your reason behind something is, it doesn't have value to it. It's not a value like a character value or whatever.
But not
It's
only that,
just a thought.
you can't face any sort of criticism or questioning to your cause or your position, then it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's entirely bullshit, because then it relies on everyone just accepting things as is. And all of us here do not accept everything as is. There's always either a deeper
Cool.
motive, there's a reasoning, there's a purpose behind a lot of fucking shit. And
And
Yeah.
that's another thing too, going
It's-
back to tying into what both of y'all mentioned. When you're getting attacked for asking questions, something is wrong, because
yeah,
it's only by asking questions that you can find out not only the other side of what you're thinking, but also like what projects mentioned earlier, being exposed to new things that you was unaware of. There's a big vast difference in stupidity and ignorance.
absolutely.
Ignorance is being unaware of something, not that you're stupid or dumb. Being stupid means you are aware of something and you're still stubborn enough to stick to what you know is not right.
So a good example that I can give of this, let's say the right. Okay. Now, everyone's got a million different opinions on Jews, Israel, the whole Palestine situation. It's nobody has a proper consensus on the thing. Okay. There are many conservatives that disagree with Israel's push into Gaza and everything going on in Palestine and whatnot, and then especially Iran and all the Hezbollah. I can go on forever. The point is, we could still have these conversations and still talk to each other and not hate each other. It's fucking great. And that to me is what really is the biggest difference between liberals and conservatives. Because the liberals, they'll still stay close, but no matter what, a woman can be a man apparently. And if you agree with it, you get excommunicado, you get kicked out, you get called a misogynist, you get called a piece of shit, you get called a Nazi. I can go on forever. Whereas the conservative side, hey, I think the Jews did 9/11. Okay, let's talk about it. We're not going to kick you out. Let's hear it. What's your opinion on it? You know what I mean? Some people are just too far in deep, and I mean the liberal side, to be even worth fucking saving at this point, man. Like, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. And I think that Charlie's efforts are a great example of it. Is the greatest example I could think of, really. Because he's the only one willing to sit there at that fucking table and listen to this bullshit from these idiots, from these low IQ fucking human beings that really think a man can become a woman, that a man can give birth, that children should be on these fucking pills and shit that alter their hormones and all that kind of crap. Normally, in a realistic society, we shouldn't even be entertaining this fucking bullshit. We shouldn't even be entertaining any of it. Because the second that somebody comes up and says, hey, a man should be a woman, can become a woman, that person should be locked the fuck out. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. No one's going to listen to you and shit. And yet we entertain it. Charlie entertains it and lets their own position stand for themselves. And that to me is what the biggest fucking difference is between both sides.
That's
So,
another thing too. If you take someone that is, let's say, let's take a term that's been thrown around from both sides, brainwashed.
mhm.
Someone that is just repeating the same talking points from their side that they hear. Like, and again, like we had talked about before, if you ask someone, okay, you think that whatever, okay, why?
Yep. And both,
and both, there's so much now that, oh, because I seen it here, or because so and so said so, so it's got to be that way, versus that same person that is gonna sit there. And again, it has to be someone that does have some, common sense, critical thinking, which again is all getting harder or less and less common in today's society in the first place. But if you let someone like that talk long enough, they're going to start realizing there's no substance to what they're saying. Even just letting them talk it out, there is a percentage of folks that will catch on and realize and start questioning what they're saying themselves anyways, and that's how you end up fighting ignorance. People learning things, becoming aware, is by them being interested in finding out. Yeah, and it don't always come so easy when you're necessarily wanting to learn something as it does when you're wanting to find out why you're wrong.
Yeah. Here's the deal. Okay. So most people, regardless of where they fall on the spectrum, fall somewhere in that spectrum between hypothetical left and right. Right. You got the far left who are absolutely entrenched and will never listen to anything anybody has to say. And then you have the far right who are the exact same way and so far entrenched that they're never going to listen to anything anybody has to say. Right.
less of a
And
chance.
by and large, the people you're talking to online, whether you are the left talking to the right or the right talking to the left, tend to be the ones all the way. Right. Because the ones in the middle, regardless of whether they fall further to the left or further to the right, are sitting there watching the conversation, laughing because they know that both sides are the idiots, right? Somebody once told me, never argue with an idiot because people watching will not be able to tell the difference, right? If you are sitting there arguing with somebody who is a complete idiot, regardless of which side they are on, you are just as stupid as they are. Don't worry about them. You're never going to change their mind. No one is. Okay. But the people that fall in the middle, that are willing to listen to reason, that realize that, you know what, I have thoughts and opinions, but other people have them too, and theirs are just as valid as mine, and are willing to listen to it and go, okay, I can see where you're coming from. And that makes sense. Here's where I'm coming from. And that other person goes, yeah, that makes sense too. Where's the actual truth of the situation? They're the people that matter in the world. They're the ones that make up the majority, even though it doesn't seem like that when you're working online because you're not seeing those people. Okay. Those people are your neighbors. Those people are your friends and your family, right? And because the entire movement has been, we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about our favorite sports team because somebody else has a different opinion than you, and it's going to cause some friction, right?
It's going to hurt somebody's feelings. You can't do that.
Be willing to be offended. It's okay. Be offended, right? Be offended by the other side, and then stop and look at yourself and go, is my opinion stupid? Is what they're saying make sense? And try to figure that out, right? Don't just go into it as in, I'm right, you're wrong. Go into it as in, I have an opinion, and this is why. I know you have an opinion. Why do you have that opinion? Hear them out. And that's how society makes it, okay? The most dangerous thing in the world is hope and communication. There's a reason why freedom of speech and freedom of assembly is right there in the Constitution. Same way with why there's, the right to bear arms, right? The the freedom of speech and freedom of assembly guarantees that people are talking and communicating, and that is what prevents a situation where the Second Amendment is even needed in the first place. And then you have the Second Amendment to fall back on because at some point, people in power realize that I'm in power. I don't have to give it up, right? The peaceful transfer of power in the United States. The only thing that guarantees that is the Second Amendment, right? There's nothing to guarantee that the person that you elect into office gets into office and the person that's there leaves, except for the Second Amendment. And the First Amendment gets you the conversation to get there in the first place. And we've forgotten how important talking is, right? And some people know just how important it is. The person that picked up a firearm and shot Charlie Kirk in the neck knew exactly how important conversation was, right? If you couldn't convince people on the left of something, of a viewpoint that the right held, by sitting and having a conversation with them, there was no point in shooting him in the neck, right? He wasn't a dangerous person. Nobody would get upset at him. They'd laugh at him because they know that nothing he said would make a difference, right? And the same way with people on the right getting upset with some of these leftists that speak on their side. They wouldn't be getting upset if they didn't think that what words mattered and that people could be convinced. And the people that can be convinced are the ones in the middle, the ones that are listening, the ones that aren't saying anything, the ones that aren't posting, the ones that aren't arguing. They're just listening and watching. Don't make yourself into the idiot by arguing with the wrong people. Don't argue at all. Just have a discussion. Share your thoughts and why you have them.
When they censor us all the time. That's the other problem.
They ain't censoring you if you walk next door and you sit down on your neighbor's porch, right? There's no goddamn censorship there, bud. Don't worry about the fucking internet. Don't worry about TV. It doesn't matter. The people,
the point.
If you want to change their minds and you want to expand your viewpoint in the world, you're not going to do it online. You will. It doesn't matter whether they censor you or not, because what you say online doesn't fucking matter. Nobody's listening.
They all listen. People all fucking listen. That's why we have podcasts. That's why we have pundits. That's why we have people all over the place. That's why we have agencies spreading posts and stuff. There's a big disconnect and a big problem with the right versus left debate. The left barely gets censored. All their word gets to go everywhere and globalized everywhere. Everyone sees their post priority versus the right. The problem with this is that while the right tries to speak up, which we have to engage, at least culturally, because this is a culture war. We have to engage online. We have to engage in person. That's the beautiful thing what Charlie did. He did it in fucking person. That's big difference between what we're doing right now. But we still have to fight them in those spaces online. And whether or not you think it's in vain or it's pointless, there is a point, because people read those comments, people see those things, people see those posts, and we have to fucking argue back. If we stay silent because we've been censored for so fucking long, where all of our posts get deprioritized, all of our posts barely get any likes, barely get any, we're gonna fucking miss out. And then those people, those moderates, right? The people in the middle only see one viewpoint and they're gonna get convinced of it as reality. That's the problem. And people are
Well,
very fucking gullible.
and I agree with you.
People are
I
very
agree with you. I agree with you here. Right now, I want to ask you this. Okay, put yourself into a situation, right, where you're in a world where all your communication and everything you see online is all you see,
hmm
right? And you're going to make your opinions based on that. But which one would you hold more value on if you read something online, or if Cody was sitting there next to you saying something different? Would you go, which one would you hold more value on? Would you hold more value on the random thing you saw online from a person you don't know? Or would you hold more value on the thing that you heard and the discussion that you had with an actual person that you knew and you trusted? I'm not saying that just to not even bother, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that focus your effort where it matters, right? If you've got a choice later on tonight to sit down at your computer and argue with 10 people on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now, or Facebook, or I don't know, the YouTube comments of this video, or go out for a walk with your dog, your kid, your old lady, or whatever, say hi to the neighbors, talk to the woman down the street who's picking the weeds out of, her rose garden, and sit there and have a conversation with her. And it may not be a political conversation at all. It might just be about roses. But at some point, maybe something comes up in another discussion that you have 10 weeks from now after talking to her every day, where she's like, you know, I saw on the did you see that thing on the news where, you know, that guy was shot out in Utah? And you're like, yeah, you can have a discussion with her. And the things that you say are going to hold more weight than anything she saw a news broadcaster say, or that she saw somebody on her Facebook feed say. Because you're a
okay.
real person that she has a connection with, right?
If I
She doesn't need to even agree with you.
but if I may, okay, you're saying that we should hold more weight to people that are in person, which
I'm
okay,
not saying that we should. I'm saying that we do.
uh 50-50. Okay. The reason why I say 50-50 is because you have to always look at everything that you see online and in person with a huge grain of salt. Okay. There's an ongoing
Absolutely.
with the internet, oh, if it's on the internet, it must be true, which is a joke because it's not. The thing is, the way that I interpret information, right? If let's say I see some sort of event that happened, okay, I'm not going to appeal to the person next to me or anyone in person to seek that said information because that information can be so varied. There's a lot of variables that are added to that. So we have to kind of look at things from a nuanced approach. So we have to look at multiple sources. So when you say that I'm looking at, listening to one person, it's not the case. I'm not saying that you are saying that, but I'm just pointing that out. I'm taking my intel from a situation from many, many various sources. And the thing is that if I take it from somebody in person, it's not going to hold any more weight than I would be interpreting. It's going to be the same
But
thing
that's enough. I
in
do
person.
want to interject on you a minute. That's the difference with you, is you are aware of a
I
lot of stuff. You know to check your sources. You know to look at stuff. The average
I agree. I would be
citizen in today's society, like we've been mentioned, everybody, we all, even me, fall victim to this in little pieces now of getting sucked into online stuff versus going out and talking to people in person, because it had, and even same thing, forget, just drop the whole political left, right, blah, 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 any of that stuff. Society and culture, like you said, this is a culture crisis. I won't even say a culture war, a culture crisis, because it has been building up for so long and so multiple generations now of being removed from that discussion in person. We don't talk religion, we don't talk politics, we don't talk this. You're going to hurt somebody's feelings, and like we all three of us have said this at different times. Fuck your feelings. You're going to get your feelings hurt. And like, again, going back to the in-person stuff, if you are in person having discussions with people, going out, going to the park, going to a bar, going to a restaurant, the traditional, going back in time, the places where social gatherings happen, the ice cream parlor, we don't even have none of them no more, but that used to be where everybody would hang out and talk and stuff. Someone says something that is so totally batshit crazy out there, someone's gonna call them out on it. And if you're backing it up with no substance to the point that you're getting enraged on your batshit baloney stuff, someone's going to punch you in the nose. You're going to have consequences. You
But
don't have any physical consequences when it's all online.
but there is
You just have stuff that feeds into your perspective.
consequences online, and people need to stop thinking that there isn't. Reason is because let's say big name channels, right? Let's say, for example, Hassan Piker or Matt Walsh, right? Those people get millions of fucking ears all the time. And when they're wrong, right, people call them out whether or not in the comments, and it hurts their credibility. Okay? Up to a point. Now, granted, they're going to always have their diehard fucking fans, always. And they're never.
And also, at the same time, the people you're talking about, going back to us talking about culture and stuff, those would be people that are considered a celebrity, not an everyday person. So, of course, a celebrity status is going to hold more weight, even in person. You have such and such actors show up at this event and they say whatever.
There's a reason
they're going to have hundreds of thousands of fans. It's going to put more weight on what they said.
Those people are in their position because they have gained that said credibility. They have gained that trust with X amount of people. So while, yes, they do have more reach, but they also have more consequence with what they say, and those people, they are constantly put in fucking check. I mean, give me a break. Look, they read their own comments up to a point,
Yeah.
But
I think what we was referring to is like your regular Joe, like that might not. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Joe ain't a dummy. He just might not be aware of a bunch of stuff or whatever. But when you're having those types of situations and you don't know what you don't know, if you're not open, you go out and find out, go talk to some folks. You'll find out some of that stuff. If you just like, same thing, like before, again, let's ignore the internet or whatever, but go back to the 70s or whatever before the internet. You have TV, you have magazines, you have all this other types of media. Internet has become the media at your fingertips, and just about anybody can post anything online and claim that it's real. And your mainstream media folks have gone away from actually verifying stuff. Like that used to be the whole reason there's a Pulitzer Prize and all this other stuff, is because real journalist folks put their lives on the line hunting down the sources and stuff for real news back in the day. Now it's post whatever you can to get as many clicks and get people fired up. It don't even matter what the thing is. If you can get people fired up, that's your biggest goal. That's gonna get you the most clicks, the most views, like you said, the most reach, and all this other stuff.
Here's the other thing, right? So let's go back to my example of you talking to the old lady down the street who likes the rose garden, right? Old lady down the street who likes the rose garden really hates guns, right? But when it comes time for an election, you haven't changed her mind. She still hates guns, and that's okay. But when it comes time for voting to ban guns, she goes, "No, I don't like guns." But not all gun owners are crazy, dangerous people. The guy down the street talks to me every night when I'm out tending my roses, has a fucking arsenal. He's just a normal dude, right? Most guys that have guns are probably just normal dudes, like the nice guy down the street talks to me when. So no, I'm not interested in banning guns. I don't like them personally, right? And then the same thing happens for everything. We don't have to agree on everything, right? I don't have to agree with you, and that's okay. And you don't have to agree with me, right? But what we got to do is respect the fact that I have a different opinion than you, and you have a different opinion than me, and let us each live our lives. I'll stay the fuck out of your business, and I won't tell you how to live your life. If you stay the fuck out of my business, then don't tell me how to live my life, right? And that happens because we have relationships and understandings in the world where we know that we have some people that have different opinions than us that are perfectly decent human beings. We like them. We agree on 95% of shit. There's a few things we don't agree on, but that's okay. I'm not going to mess with them. Let them do their thing. They're not going to mess with me. Let me do my thing. Right? And what happens is when we focus on that 5% of difference of opinion that we have, and we start trying to legislate your ability to live your life the way you want to, even though it doesn't affect me, you're going to get real pissed at me. Right? And the same thing's going to happen if you start trying to legislate how I live my life when it doesn't have any effect on you. I'm going to get real pissed at you. Right? And that's real easy to do when you don't have any relationships in real life with real people that you care about, and you're like, I like that person. I don't really want to fuck up their life just because we disagree on whether chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream's the best. Fuck it. I'll buy chocolate, you buy vanilla. Doesn't affect me any. If I come to visit, there's a good chance you're going to buy me chocolate ice cream because you know I like chocolate ice cream and you want to have it there when I get there. My mother doesn't drink coffee. When I'm coming to visit, she at least buys some instant coffee, right? She doesn't try to legislate coffee out of existence. Why? Because she knows me. She loves me. She cares about me, right? And yeah, that's a small example, but it applies to the big things too. Because in reality, the things that we think are big things aren't, right? They really aren't. In the grand scheme of things, they're little bits and pieces of our lives. They're important to us, but they're not big things, right? And they're only so important, and we only fight so hard about it because somebody else is trying to take away how we want to live our lives, right? And the other side fights back so hard because you're trying to affect how they live their life. Don't worry about it.
The problem is when we don't worry about it, they get away with shit. This is why we are here in 2025 where we are now. Because
who gives a fuck if they get away with eating vanilla ice cream, bud? It doesn't matter, does it?
It does. They are fucking with children. They're fucking with our youth. They're fucking with our college people. Like, in every aspect, bro. We can't just sit idly and allow this crap to happen. We have stayed quiet for so fucking long that now that they fucking propagate this child porn shit like everywhere, to like in school books, in school board meetings. Like we faced a whole fucking 4 years of this crap for the previous administration and stayed quiet for the most part. Why? Because a lot of us were getting censored like a motherfucker, bro. We need to talk about it. Well, yes, I agree with you. Okay, there are some things that there are many things actually that are outside of our control that don't affect us. We shouldn't fucking worry about it. Okay, we should just move on with our lives about it. But the problem is that they are pushing this shit, and it's not just the 5%. It's a good fucking chunk. It's a good percentage of people pushing this crap because they're trying to change this country's mind on a whole lot of shit. And it starts with children. It starts with consent. It starts with our education.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right?
If I may, it starts with our media because the media shapes everything. Like anybody, like before my generation, okay, I'm a millennial. Before my generation, anyone before that, most of them are listening to still big news media. It's fucking mind blowing. And all of their opinions, all of their thoughts, all of their agreements are all based on all that shit. And we have yet, and well, not yet, we have slowly tried to push the dial the other way. That's the thing. We have to fight back about it. Yes, we shouldn't be worrying about a lot of that crap, but they are doing it behind the scenes. They're doing it under the fucking table on every aspect, every domain. And we have to fucking stand up and fight against this shit. We all have to speak up about it. Because, dude, how much further do they have to keep going with pushing hormones like blockers for children, pushing surgeries for children, like abortions going rampant in all these fucking blue states and shit. But then they lose their mind when, we give every state their own choice to make legislation towards abortion. But no, we gotta have it everywhere. It's
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? And what you're saying is absolutely true. There's some things that are 100% worth fighting for. I'm not saying that nothing is worth fighting for. Okay.
apologize if
But here's the thing, right? So when we draw a line in the sand, right, and we say there's two sides and you have to pick one, right? And you've got the person that goes, okay, I agree with this, and this. My side also that agrees with me on that also thinks this, and this. I kind of got to go along with it, right? Because of that, right? When we make it a us then thing, rather than us all going, you know what? We disagree on a lot of fucking shit that doesn't fucking matter. I'm not going to bother with it because it doesn't fucking matter. But we both can agree that this is fucking evil. The conversation suddenly turns into not a 50-50 split down the middle. You're not arguing with the other side, right? Because most of them fucking agree with you on this shit.
What do you mean by they most? You mean the other?
So most of the people that you're putting in the liberal basket are going to agree with you that this shit being done with children and pushing these agendas is fucking wrong, right?
They
But
don't.
no, I guarantee you they do. I put myself into a position where I talk to a lot of people with a lot of different opinions. I've always been a person that loves to debate, and I will play the other side and debate the other side from what I believe just to have the debate.
I agree.
Right? So I've got some friends that are extremely far left leaning. And by friends, I use that term loosely. I don't really have any real life friends because I'm like this. But I will sit and argue the far right with them. And I've got some friends that are far right, and I will sit and argue the far left's point of view against them. Why? Because I think that the conversation's worth having regardless. Right? The conversation is worth having. Looking at it from the other side is important. And if you don't look at it from the other side, the second you go to talk to somebody with the other side's opinion, you're going to be blindsided. They're going to come at you with an argument that you never heard about, that you never thought about, and you're going to look like an idiot and you're going to look like a fool and you're going to lose that debate. So
But
it's
I think
important.
what y'all both are kind of tying into, while you're kind of like splitting a little bit, you're both getting at what we had mentioned earlier, which I was kind of my point of making tonight's topic and the wake up call, and like where you had mentioned earlier, it's time to stop being silent. You have that big swath, say probably 40% total, left and right side both, that's square there in the middle, like what you were saying, the moderate side. And you have people on that lean both sides that fit in that middle section that has been like what we've been saying, been sitting aside, not speaking up, not doing anything because certain things don't directly affect them to the point that they want to speak up and have been sitting aside. Well, by sitting aside and not speaking up, regardless of which little bit you lean, it's the far sides of both sides that is ridiculous. It's the middle people, the moderates, that is even going to be willing to listen or be open minded in the first place to even have a conversation with. But we're not speaking up and talking to each other as much because everything has been, oh, it's got to be one, like you said, a line in the sand. You're either this way or you're that way. If you don't think this way, you're the enemy. If you think that way, you're my enemy. When we're all fucking Americans here, there shouldn't be we shouldn't be enemies of each other in the first place. That's where when we talk about
You
stuff,
think
and the same thing going back
you're
to the revolution,
an enemy?
it all started because they had conversations and met
Fuck.
together.
Like I'm not gonna. There's no reasoning with people that defy simple, basic, fundamental logic. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm not
Yeah,
talking.
well, and
I'm
yeah, and I was gonna say, and those is the
not.
kind of people. It doesn't matter how much you
Yeah.
talk or how many facts you give them, or they give you this line, you give it a direct line that actually shows whatever. They're so far gone in their mindset, they're never going to listen anyways.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more of that silent folks that's sitting in the middle than there is on either side. It's just the far sides is the ones that ain't afraid to speak up and run their mouths, and the squeaky wheel gets the wheel. That's what gets paid attention to because they're the ones speaking up.
Pause. One side disproportionately is louder than the other
Well,
because they have systems in place that favor them over the other. And with that in mind, it creates a fear complex amongst those, let's say the moderates, right, that want to speak to the right hand side. That's the problem because social media, as we know it, favors the left's arguments over the right's every fucking time. And anybody that wants to speak out against it, they fucking can't. They get silenced, they get deprioritized, they get shadow banned. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Both sides right now seem to be crying that they're getting censored, and the other side.
It's not
So if both sides are crying the same thing, I tend to think that maybe, just maybe, it's about equal.
it's not even close. Instagram, not even close. Twitch, not even close. YouTube, the largest video platform, not even close.
Oh
Lots of
yeah, I'm not saying that companies don't have aren't censoring one side or the other. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm
again,
saying
the way
is
you
that both
fight
arguments are
censorship.
getting censored and both sides are crying about it. I'm not saying who's getting censored more, right? On what platform, right? Because the left is going to cry that they're censored on X, and the right's going to cry that they're censored on fucking whatever. I don't know. It it doesn't matter. that's not where you win hearts and minds anyway, right? You can put it up there and they will see it, right? If they're looking for it, okay? If they're not looking for it, they're never going to see it. Okay? That's how the algorithm works because you know the the right feels like they're getting censored because the left doesn't see their shit, and that's because the left, the algorithm feeds people what they want to see,
I'll be
right?
right back.
Yep.
I bet you, you go on to, well, you're clearly a person that's going to have these discussions. So your algorithm is going to be a little bit different because you do engage with conversations that the left are having. So you're going to see more of one side versus the other, right?
Of course.
But a person on the right who doesn't engage with stuff on the left, right? The algorithm for all of these social media platforms is not feeding them any of the left shit. Okay? It's not.
So
I can assure you that because I don't see any of it.
I get some of it every now and then, especially on Instagram and YouTube.
Well, you interact with it.
I don't, man. I just watch some of it. That's the thing.
That's the thing. You watch some of it. You might comment on something, some of it. You might have something to say about it. So it goes, well, this guy interacted with it. It doesn't care what you fucking said. It just cares that you said something, that you watched it. It doesn't care whether you agreed with it or not. It wants you to click on it. That's how it makes its money. Okay. And if you don't interact with it and you don't click on it, you're not going to see it eventually, right? Regardless
But
of whether you're left or right. You're
there is
going
a flip side to that, projects, in that everything you're saying is coming from the point of view that platforms are equal,
I'm not saying
and
they're equal.
and they're not.
They're like
Realistically, there
YouTube is
is.
definitely trying to silence and shut down gun culture. Okay. When every time I build a Nerf blaster on my stream, I got to worry about some jackass fucking reporting me for having a firearm on my stream and getting my shit shut down. Right. When, you know,
But yeah,
channel after
it goes
channel are getting shut
back to.
down. You can't have the conversations on one side that you can have on the other on a platform. I'm not saying that the platform doesn't have an agenda. What I'm saying is that
Well, but yeah,
when you only
but that's what I
interact
was
with one
getting
side, you
at.
find
Is
yourself
that
in an echo chamber. It's not going
and
to
that
feed somebody something they're not interacting with.
But
So
that's the thing, is it does.
this comes into
All of the platforms do have stuff that they put out trying to get things, not necessarily like going down the conspiracy thing that they're pushing a certain agenda per se, but there is, like, you don't have to necessarily, like, say, I don't watch makeup videos, for example. Let's just throw that out there. There's going to be a handful of makeup videos that show up in my feed because the thing is trying to push new content stuff. When I've never watched a makeup video, never commented on one, that stuff does happen. And then the same time, there is stuff like what Op Runner has been saying, and I've seen this coming from the gun side of YouTube stuff too. There's clearly stuff that they do shadow ban and don't push out. It's not just a open forum for talking about things. That's like the only open forum that's still around is literally, like we talked about earlier, going out and talking to people. But you got to have people that's going to go out and talk to you. When folks just stay in their own echo chamber and stuff, like we've talked about with a lot of the stuff online feeding back into your own viewpoint or whatever, it all feeds into that division.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So right now I've got a Call in Noir I am the militia hat on, right? Sometimes I might have a Second Amendment shirt on, right? And now I'm in an area that is close enough to a major metropolitan area, even in a red state, where I run into a lot of folks that are left leaning, right? And I run into people where you can clearly see on their face when they see, my T-shirt or my hat or whatever, and they're kind of taken aback and a little bit frightened, right? Or maybe they see my carry gun on me, right? And you see that they're a little bit uncomfortable. But when I'm standing in line behind them at the checkout, and I just say hi to them or say something stupid in conversation, like, oh, that's my favorite flavor of Gatorade too, right? And I just interact with people, and all of a sudden it starts breaking down some walls where the person that they saw as the enemy, the other side, scary dude, whatever the case may be, it doesn't help that I'm not a smiley person, right? I look like an asshole. But when I interact with them, they go, "Oh, holy shit, just normal dude, just nice. He's a nice dude, right? Conversational. I can just, you know, it breaks down walls, right? And it's probably not going to overall change their mind, but it's going to put a little thing in the back of their head where, oh, maybe everybody that has you know, the a T-shirt with AR on it, maybe they're not all just scary people, right? Maybe not everybody that has a firearm on their side is looking to rob the place and shoot everybody, right?
Welcome, Night Strike, to the show.
Hey, I got tired of being the only guy out there on the chat saying something. Sorry.
Welcome to the party, man.
Yeah, but I do want to go back to two things. Okay. One, Neapolitan ice cream is the best because you get 3 flavors in one, and two,
That's objectively true. Yes.
your life choices. I'm not going to argue with, but I am going to argue with your printer choices. That's it.
My printer choices.
Yes, I am going to argue with your printer choices because they're not bamboo.
See, they're not bamboo, and I got to tell you why they're not bamboo. Okay,
because you don't have bamboo money.
Because
no, those probably cost more than bamboos.
that one, so the first one on the left costs about as much as a X1C with an AMS. The one next to it costs about as much as 2 H2Ds. The one next to that runs you about the cost of an H2D. The Creality one costs you about as much as a Creality printer. The one on the bottom there costs you about the same as like a P1S.
I swapped all
that
my
one there
printers out for a P1S.
That one there costs you about the same as a H2S.
I got rid of all my Creality printers for a P1S.
I have no bamboo printers because bamboo didn't answer my goddamn fucking emails.
They don't answer emails. They're from China.
Oh, they do. They just didn't answer mine. My channel's not big enough for them to sponsor. Not that any of these were sponsored. I really want an A1 with an AMS because right now I started printing Nerf blasters. Sorry if this gets the channel taken down and the stream taken down. But here we go.
It's a Nerf gun. It's fine.
It's a Nerf shotgun, right? It's a Nerf shotgun, YouTube. It's okay, right? It's a blaster.
Where's the darts?
Right?
Oh, that thing shoots like
it can shoot any dart.
Sizes.
Pick whatever dart you want. It goes in it. There's like these little plastic shotgun shell looking things. You just put whatever darts you want in it, and
do the Nerf balls?
Yeah, it can do Nerf balls.
All right, there you go.
It can do Mega XLs. It can do
Ooh.
regular darts. It can do half darts. It can do the balls. It can do Mega darts. It can do Mega and regular darts at the same time. It can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, most of that's printed in PLA or PETG. And I've never been a person that printed PLA or PETG. My printers, great. If you want to print ABS, ASA, you want to print nylon, you want to print polycarbonate, you want to print PPS, PPA, you want to print any engineering filament. They're great at it, particularly that one. All right. Chamber temps of over 90 C on that fucker. It destroys itself regularly because it gets so fucking hot.
Well, I can't show anything what I print because what I print is the no stuff. So I can't show anything. But I will tell you, I am a master of PLA plus because I have printed all that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't have a printer that's good at printing PLA. I struggle to print PLA stuff. Like I struggle to print the basic filament that everybody else prints.
Okay. Sit down, Hondo. I'm gonna give you 3 settings that should ensure perfect PLA printing. Okay.
All
right. 220, 60, and use a textured paste sheet.
Yep.
There you go. Perfect PLA every time.
So that's not why I struggle. So
I'll give you one more. Use support.
Clarify. So here's the issue with when I print PLA, right? So now all of a sudden I've got 2 doors that are hanging open in the middle of my shop that I run into. Or I've got to take the door completely off, or take the door completely off, or I've got doors hanging open. I got kids that run through here. It's not that it's not that the machine has a hard time printing it. It's not that I physically have a hard time printing it. It's that it's extremely inconvenient because of the machines that I have.
As someone who went from an Ender 3 to 2 Creality K1 printers, initial version and then the updated version, and then upgraded them both to the upgraded version. Okay. I didn't get the K1C because I had 2 K1s. They did the same thing. They did just fine. I did fine with PLA printing. Okay. But now I've got a P1S because I got rid of those for P1S. And now that I've got that, I don't want to go back to Creality, period.
There was a couple of weeks ago there where every single one of my printers was broken, except the only one putting out any parts was my CR10 sitting over there.
And let me guess, your Creality printers that broke had a problem with the clog.
The only Creality, so I've only owned 2 Creality printers. One of them was an Ender 3, which I immediately ripped the tool head off. I put a stealth burner on it. This was a couple of years ago, right? If it was today, I'd put something else on it. But
you put a Sprite on it these days.
And then CR10 that's over there, that's got a micro Swiss direct drive, all metal hot end. Like, yeah, the Ender 3 when I first got it, and it had the base thing on it, it clogged all the time because it freaking.
I'm sorry for derailing your chat with 3D printing.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, 3D printing channel. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I don't venture into the realm of printing real steel stuff on my printers. I don't know.
I can say this, I just can't show it, but I have 3D printed VZ61s.
What?
Yeah. I bought part skits, and I bought barrels from Walter from Safety. You know who he is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't say his full name of his company, but Safety, and you know who he is.
SHTF.
Yes. I've gotten barrels from him, and then what I did is I just went and used my press to press the new barrels into the old top covers, and then I just 3D printed a receiver that could just take AR-15 fire control group, and then I'm done.
Oh no shit! You put an FRT in that thing, though,
no? I have 2 super safeties.
I have to agree with that.
I have 2 super safeties in them. Yes, they are fun approved.
Nice.
So I would like to say they're real boys. They're not really, but they're good enough. It's just the price of 32 ACP these days.
If you can find it.
That's the other problem. The price and availability of 32 ACP. I'm about to have to make a campaign. Make 32 ACP great again.
I can't remember the last time I saw 32 ACP or what's the other one?
Last time-
somebody tried to give me a pistol. It was
25
like
ACP.
yeah, 25. And I was like, what am I gonna do with it, bro?
25 is actually easier for me to find than 32.
I've only ever saw
32,
one box of 25. I've never saw a box of 32 on a shelf anywhere. I saw one box of 25 like back in, I don't know, 2018, 2019 at Rural King. That was it.
The last box of 32 I could find was at my local, and it was a Winchester White Box 32 pack. It was the 50 pack of the 32 ACP Winchester White Box. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I want Winchester White Box. And I'm like, is that all you've got? That's all we've got. And they still haven't gotten 32 ACP back in yet.
I tell you what, man, it bugs the shit out of me, the prices of ammo these days. It's gotten a little bit better, but holy fuck.
Yep.
So last year in September, I bought semi-auto shotgun. I bought a CZ 1012. And I hadn't got to shoot it yet. I finally got to shoot it a couple weeks ago.
Yay.
Scared the shit out of me shooting that thing because some health complications that I have.
Uh-oh.
I was like, I don't know, I could pull this trigger and I could end up dead. Right? Not because the gun goes, but the recoil with the spinal situation I have.
Ah.
All right. I was looking at getting, a box from Walmart of, 100 rounds of 12 gauge. And it used to be under $20 for 100 rounds of 12 gauge, like bird shot. Target loads.
Like 10 years ago.
No, not even 10 years ago. I think, before COVID. Before COVID.
7 years ago.
But now it's like 44 bucks. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh, so when I bought the house that I moved into, it was a little bit after COVID, and ammo prices were through the roof, and you couldn't find it anywhere, right? And like, what ammo was going for? And I'm moving here, and I'm pulling, ammo out because I got to move it from my old house to my new house. I'm like, holy fuck, if I sold all the ammo that I had at the prices that they're asking on, online right now for this shit, I could pay for my house.
Don't do that, though.
No, I didn't. It was like $400 for a box of 50 rounds of 9mm. It's like, Jesus criminy, dude.
Well,
I definitely couldn't pay for my house with my ammunition supply now. it was quite entertaining. Well, he's like, you should do that. I was like, definitely not. It's definitely not worth it. So you don't know where the world's headed right now. At this point, looking back, it probably would have been the smarter move. But, at the time, not knowing, yeah. But anyway,
we've been going
the world's
for an hour
fucked
and a
up
half
right now.
So we'll probably start winding things down and doing our final thoughts on things. I know it's been we'll have to pick this up again. I am going to be bringing back the Swamp Talk podcast once a week. So
I still think you should change the name.
Well, we might start another show with one of the other names, but Swamp Talk's the group talk show.
I know. I'm just teasing you.
Let's get
But
this
yeah,
topic spicy ready. You guys ready? Should
Go ahead.
transgender own firearms? Yay or
You cut
nay?
out there.
I was going to say you rowboat and cut
I
out.
know what he said. Should transgenders own firearms?
There you go. Yeah, let's get this spicy. Yay or nay, and reasons.
I'm one. You're still a person. As long as you're not doing something else that makes you a prohibited person, then it shouldn't matter what you identify as per se. That's like that to say that no transgender folks should be able to have guns because they're transgender, period, is the same as all the bullshit that we dealt with all the red flag stuff of taking anybody that is a regular citizen, that is a normal person. As far as our rights go, rights extend to everybody. It doesn't matter gender, it doesn't matter color, it doesn't matter anything. As long as you're a fucking human being, you have the basic human rights. Once you go beyond that and start affecting other people or doing things that again make you a prohibited person, being dangerous, doing whatever, then it doesn't matter what the other situations are. You've done give that up. That's how I feel.
Anyone else?
So any of y'all can,
I don't really want to
disagree.
honestly, my point is on this is I don't want another ban on guns because I don't want anybody being able to use it against me in any way, shape, or form. No matter if it just bans somebody who's mentally deficient or not. Because who's to say that the same group that always calls for gun control won't modify that law later on to include more groups
Or change the definition of what that group is.
Exactly.
Yep. 100%.
We don't need more gun control. We need less.
We need more. I will throw this out there too. There needs to be more mental health awareness stuff. People that's got issues needs to get dealt with and not just left to stew before they blow up on something.
Believe it or not, the mental health crisis in our country is actually caused by the Democrats because President Clinton went and gutted the entire mental health care system during the 90s and got rid of almost all the major mental health care facilities and corporations that dealt with having hospitals that treated people, for the sake of we don't need them anymore. How do I know? Well, let's just say my father was in a corporate environment of one of those said companies.
Yeah, I don't know enough to speak on it, so
that's all I'm going to say on that.
I don't know about all that. I can tell you from a constitutional point of view that shall not be infringed is pretty fucking clear.
Hey, that's my catchphrase.
Yep. So you threw the question out there. What's your take?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hope I don't go robotic. I'm back on the Starlink. I'm on the move right now. Do I think transgender individuals should be banned from owning firearms? Really simple answer. And although as much as it really pains me and really hurts me inside, I'd say no. I don't think there should be any fun. This shit has always been known to be turned around and turned against. Here is that if they decide to go with banning transgender individuals from owning firearms, who's to say veterans are next?
Well,
Because
and also,
or
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Seagull.
oh, go ahead, Night Strike. You say what you're gonna say
All right.
first.
You know, veterans, white people, you know, Asian people, you
White.
know, any group they don't agree with.
Yep, I agree.
And
My-
also, I'll tie into what we just dealt with a couple years ago, where they already officially labeled a lot of your 2A type advocacy groups as extremists. If they label that and sit there and change labels, what's not to say they're not going to throw that into said group
Well,
of
Swampy, I
ban.
still say you're the nicest extremist I know.
oh, radical extremist.
Yes, he's the nicest radical extremist I know.
Okay, so the reason why I brought up veterans in this situation is because in some cases, when they deal with situations like PTSD, breacher syndrome, etc., at that point, then they would require that you prove a mental deficiency. Now, when it comes to transgenderism, I don't care what a lot of. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you. Keep going.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, we can
Keep
hear
going.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. It froze for a minute. Okay. Now, when it comes to the veterans, right, and they try to prove that, oh, they have a mental deficiency, well, who's to say, they could do the same deal with transgender individuals? Because in reality, they do have a mental deficiency. Whether everyone agrees with it or not, they do. Like, it's guaranteed.
And then some.
Yep. Yeah, they got fucking major problems. Now, do I think, in my mind, yeah, I don't think they should own guns at all. Okay? But there's a very critical thing. Okay? If the Second Amendment is not for everyone, then it's for fucking no one.
Sad but true.
Like, unfortunately, as much as I hate, the other side and would hate the idea that they decide to amass and build their own militia groups, like, it's gonna come back around biting them in the ass, because then they'll realize, for God and country and everything else, there's a reason why we do the things we do, why we train, why we love this shit so much. They're gonna fall in line. Now, if there's any hope for the trannies and shit to maybe get influenced a bit by that, I'd be saying let's take a chance with that. As for the mental health crisis in this country, I don't
It
think
is real.
Yeah, it is. It's beyond real. It's been past time to be real.
I mean, it's not just the trans people that are affected by it. It's that whole the whole alphabet group. It's the homeless people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I hate to say it like this, but it's also the veterans too.
Well, look at recently how much awareness has been put out on PTSD and recognizing it as a legit issue and actually doing things to try to address it. If some of that, even just some of that, was put towards some of the other mental health stuff that our society is dealing with, a lot of the stuff would get a little bit better. It ain't going to fix it overnight, but a little bit of help is a hell of a lot better than
no help.
Ignoring shit.
Yep.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's a much deeper problem than we all think. It's a cultural problem too, man. Because a lot of people,
by us talking about it is putting it out in the open. It doesn't stay in the shadows and just keep growing. As long as we keep talking about things, and that's the biggest issue. Like what I brought up at the start of the show. Again, going back to one of my favorite movies of all time, Boondock Saints. If no one does anything, again, if perfect example of real life, the attack in South Carolina, where everybody's just
It's North Carolina, bud.
Yeah, well,
it's North Carolina. It didn't happen here. We learned our lesson.
But anyway,
because if it would happen here, that guy would have been shot 14 times before he hit the ground.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, when good people do nothing, evil wins. if you don't do anything and you just sit by, you don't speak up, you don't do anything, you're just as guilty as the person doing something because you know about it and you didn't try to stop it. And that don't mean necessarily tackling a attacker or whatever the case is, but get off your ass and go outside, do something, talk to someone. If you see something like that happening, don't just let it happen.
I'll tell you what. Let's go a step fucking further. How about everybody start getting more fucking training? How about everybody else start
That too.
medical shit? Because the more people start to learn medical training, more people will start to realize how fragile we really are, and they'll do more to protect it as a result.
And medical training is something that does not require you to be pro-gun or anything. You can be 100% pacifist and you can save someone with even just a basic medical trauma class, whatever, first aid, whatever. Anything in those first critical moments could be the difference between someone being able to be saved or someone not.
But not
And
only
it
that,
don't
not only that, you're gonna use your medical shit way, 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 way more than your gunfighting skills. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, and that's why
I was going to say.
I have friends that ask me, "Hey, I want to sign up for this class. I want to do this. I want to like, what gun should I get?" Fuck all that. Stop trying to get all that shit. Like, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take a lot of money for people to get to that skill level where they can, properly fucking carry and be a decent group at 25 yards. It's a hell of a lot. If everybody starts learning medical training, stop the bleed, learn how to use a tourniquet, start carrying it, start carrying bandages and shit, because the world would be a hell of a lot safer place. And it's a lot easier to get women on board with this shit, than have to get them to carry a gun and they're going to be a loose cannon potentially. They'll come along. Like the rest will follow. They will go along with the journey when they realize just how fucking fragile and weak we really are. Because they'll do more to protect it, And it's a sad state of affairs when, we have to fucking keep arguing this shit, especially with trainees trying to own guns. Let them own guns. Let them learn. They'll follow along. Some of them might find the light. They might find God. And I'm hoping and I'm fucking praying for it. But that's all I got for that, really.
There you go. Well, on that note, I think I'm going to call it for tonight's show. I want to thank everybody that joined on tonight's discussion in the panel, and also for those that watched on the chat, since this was the first thing in quite a while. The channel's been kind of dead. I'm still around. Emails, contact info is all still the same for anybody that wants to reach out. I'll go ahead and go around the room per se and let y'all mention where to find y'all for folks that want to check out what y'all do. We'll start with projects and work our way around.
Yeah, again, projects in Dad's Garage. Do a YouTube channel mostly focused on 3D printing and 3D printing projects. How far that branches out from there, I don't know. But if you're at all interested in any of that, come check us out. If it's not your thing, all right, I get it, but give us a shot.
Alrighty. And then we'll go to Night Strike next, since Op Runner's blacked out.
I'm not sure we say it like that, but okay. You can find me as Night Strike or Night Strike 1 on YouTube, Rumble, or guntube.org.
Alrighty. And then last but not least, certainly, my buddy Op Runner.
Hey guys, Chris from Op Runner. You can find me on Instagram and on YouTube as X7_studios. I'm shadow banned as fuck, so you gotta type it off all the way. Thank you for coming to this conversation. I think we need to have more conversations. I think we need to be louder. And we need to be just talking more, like all in general. Every fucking one of us. We need to stop being silent. We need to start arguing more. We need to debate more, because the only way that the other side wins is if we stay quiet. And they just tried to do that with Charlie. Enough is enough. Let's do this.
There you go. And real quick before I end it, is Thursdays good? Anybody else that wants to come on for the next episode? I'm thinking of sticking to Thursday nights for now.
Thursday's good for me. Any day's good. Really.
All right. Sounds good. On that note, everybody, y'all be good, and we'll catch y'all next time.
Later.